Good morning, Rabbi Sai. Leilu Nishmas imi Morasi Ruspas Mordechai. I love this short clip over here because we have Chevra from Williamsburg in the shir, a bunch of them. The only problem is that they don't know about each other. Okay, so here you go. Gershon Weiss. You don't hear? Let's do it again. Do it again. The Leilu is still talking. Hold on. Let's go from the beginning. I'll tell you what he's saying. He's saying he's from Williamsburg. The screen's off. He's a Kloisenberger young man from Williamsburg, and he does not go by bus. He goes by car. Here you go.
Really?
So I really hope that the Chevra. Let me speak, please. I really hope that the Chevra from Williamsburg, they get together as a Chabura and they come to Deal, New Jersey, so we could all get to meet the Chevra. It's one big family, so get to know each other. Maybe Tomer and Nisana will get together a group, a WhatsApp group, something. We have to get them together. Look over there, Eli. Me and my younger brother, as you know, this is from a Bacher. That's why he's saying it like that. Did the Daf in Camp good the last summer? Yes, they did. It's the Coopermans, the famous Coopermans from Brooklyn. Doing the Daf in Camp was very challenging. No video, missing the schmack of funny pictures and jokes, having to download shiur was a task on its own. We're going to camp this week. Me and my brother, we really hope we can get the tablet. I'm not exaggerating. 30 to 40 emails a day for these tablets. Oh, Yosef is back in town. Did you get any sleep? Oh, you didn't send me all of them?
I didn't send you all of them.
Oh, yeah. Okay, forget the tablets. We ran out of tablets. We don't have tablets anymore. Shalom. Okay, we're gonna have to do something. I'm not the one who want my kids in class. I don't want to. Pluchak, he's in my class. He says, I think Rebbe knows his father. If it's Moshe Pluchak, then of course I know his father. It's somebody other Pluchak, maybe. It'd be nice if I can get one, huh? Yeah. That's Moshe Pluchak. There. I was waiting ever since it was mentioned the first time. Thanks for changing my father. Listen to this. Thanks for changing my father's life, me and my 9th grade and my 7th grade brother's lives for the good. It's geschmack to do the daf. Can't wait to get one. Meet you and my brother. I'll meet you in Eretz Yisrael like my brother did. I'm skipping around. He didn't write it so sloppy like I'm reading it. Alex Gilden. Or as my little Avrami says, and as he hears you repeating it, rebelly button. This kid calls me rebelly button.
Good morning,
Rebelly button. This little knacker has been brought early to Beis Medrash literally since he's 3 weeks old. I figured if he's up already, Zinehen, and my wife could get some more sleep, benefit from Kol HaTorah. This morning he heard me listening to this shir, and I think he did a nice job on the intro. Looking forward to the big deal, Siyom. Rabbi Sai, I've been with the shir since Brachas Daf Beis, and I feel like you and I have been family forever, says Jonathan Stefansky. Speaking of family, this is amazing, seriously. The reason why I'm showing this, these guys, they never met Jonathan. He lives in RBS, they live in Brooklyn. Look how many guys showed up from the mishpacha to his daughter's Vart. Speaking of family, it wouldn't be as simple without the MDY family. See attached pics. Amazing to have the MDY New York Oilam joining our Simcha Jonathan. Stop. Guys, they liked his Purim spiel, whatever it was. I don't know.
Some family you
I was at the L'chaim. I don't remember her name. I know what you're asking. Koil sponsor. Hatzlacha Kol Mishpachas MDY. We have a parnasah hashavua for the koil. Lzchus shidduch leYeshua Eliyahu ben Tzipora. Lzchus parnasah toiva leMoshie Yaakov ben Shoshana. Parnasah Cholish Ahron Fraiman. Lzchus continue parnasah siyadta dishmaya natzach the rebelli by the Lock and Lebovic families Lakewood NJ because Torah is the best segulah. Leilu Nishmas bas Yosef. Refuah Shilayma for Yוכבד Aviya bas Shifra. Rabbi Sai, the MDY family. Leilu Nishmas Shimshon Weiss. Shimshon ben Meshulam Dov Zechor Lebracha. Shimi Weiss was one of the founding members of our shir. He's with our shir for close to 4 years. He always cracked a good joke during shir when he was here. And right before his nifter, he sent me a few videos and a few text messages. And one of his videos, he looked very sick, and he told me that he can't learn anymore. It's pushed so hard, and he wants chizuk, and he had his Gemara right next to him, and he told me that in the video, he says, I told my wife, don't touch this. This doesn't go anywhere. This goes with me, even though he couldn't learn. Today, the Olam is getting together. They're doing a cause match. They have to raise $1 million for his family. He left 3 Yisayimim that are not married. He has other kids, 3 that are not married. He died at the young age of 59, just short of his 60th birthday. So, whoever could be mishtatev, we don't do this. Kimat, we don't do this at all. But because he was part of the Chabura, and he was one of the founding members of the Chabura, and he died at such a young age, and it's a tragic story, and they really, really need money. So we're announcing this, and Yosef Bezer Hashem is going to put the cause match on the screen, and whoever wants to be mishtatev will have tremendous schusim. All right.
I would like to understand that.
No.
I don't have a screen in front of me, so
What do you want to do?
I'll be in touch with his son, but I will definitely have a shadow.
Okay.
Yeah, like 400 shekel to that.
400 shekel.
Yeah.
Gewaldig. Okay. Gewaldig. Tiskele mitzvahs and cause match on the screen. What? One more sponsor. Who's the sponsor? Oh. Right. Sponsor today. I should be zoicha to have nachas de gedusha and tremendous success in my endeavors. But boys, I were holding my brand new Mishnah. Daf Kuf Zayin Amud Beis. The official Mishnah sponsored Leilu Nishmas Reb Yechil ben Reb Avram Zechroinu Levracha. Oh, we have a few guests in the house. Herschel Cohen from Lakewood, New Jersey. And your son-in-law is here in the house. Shalom Aleichem. What's your name? Baruch Harris from Afula. Shalom Aleichem Reb Baruch. Who else? Oh, Avi. Ephraim Lee from Moshie Quiz. And we have, okay, he's not a guest anymore. He's been here. Rav Weiss is here from Manchester. Who else? All right, that's it for today. Who? Daron. Sadik. Okay, Zok the Heilige Mishnah. Ezi Ktana Shetzrich Le'Mayin. So we're talking about Miyun, continuing with the sugi of Miyun, and that is a girl who's married B'Kiddusha de Rabbanon. She wasn't really supposed to be married. Her father died. He's the one that has the ability to marry her off. But Chachamim or Musakin, that her brothers can marry her off, the mother can marry her off. And if she wants, she could just say she doesn't want to be married. Just by saying it. Lahavdil, there's a certain nation that Adayim Hazeh, they don't even give a get. They just say it, a text message. By the way, you're divorced. So, something similar with a Ktana. What kind of Ktana has to do Miyun? Kol Shisiyua Ima. Right? Kufzayin Amud Beis on the bottom. Kol Shisui Ima va'achel ledaita. Mother, brothers, and she was a participant in this decision, then she does Miyun. But if they forced her, it never started, the whole thing never even started. If she could say she refuses to be married to the guy, certainly if she refused from the first minute, it never grabbed. If you give her a ring, Kiddushin, and she loses it, she doesn't have enough das to be in this marriage, and she doesn't have to be married. I just recalled again, at my chasana, somebody gave my ksuba to my mother-in-law, and by the time the wedding was over, there was no more ksuba left. So any lishmar ksubas bita. So after the chasana, don't worry, she's not going to watch this. It's fine. So after the chasana, we had to go and write a shtar irkasa. We had to go to the rabbanim. What do? You can't live with your wife without a ksuba. A whole thing. Get the rav, wake him up. You have to write this and this lashon. It was givaldik. So somewhere we have like a little paper, shtar irkasa. Okay. Who wrote it?
You know where it is.
You don't know Avada. What's the difference if I know the shtar there is the ksuba? You have to know the ksuba.
You have to know the ksuba.
Oh yeah, I have a ksuba. Yeah. I have actually a ksuba that I used to have in my wall in my house with my signature.
Someone has to know where the ksuba is, else you can't be in the house.
I'll tell you where it is from now on. Yeah, fine. Hisur shalei ledaito, and it's yichel amayim. Think you know something. Rebbe Lezer Oimer Ein. What's going on, Avi, today? What's going on? The Ritalin, Shmaf. Somebody have extra dose? Rabbi Isai, Rebbe Avi, the Levi, the woman. He's upset that I use chaylas. He got chalitza. Rebbe Eliezer Oimer Ein Masik Tana Klum Elo Kimifuto. So Rebbe Eliezer is the opinion we're going to see in the Gemara. He's very consistent. He says it's zero, nothing. It's like a seduced woman. There's no Kiddushin here at all. Bas Yisrael to the point. Where Bas Yisrael Kohen lo yitach b'truma. If typically when a Yisraelis, a Bas Yisrael marries a Kohen, she's permitted to eat truma. In this case, she's not permitted to eat truma. Why? Because she's a ktana. It's not a real marriage. And if she's a Bas Kohen Yisrael, if her father is a Kohen and she married a Yisrael and she's a ktana, toicha b'truma, she continues eating truma. It's as if they're not married. The Gemara uses a lashon that they're metayel. They're just taking a spatzir together in the park. They have relations and they go back as if nothing happened. If the holdback is from the man, the husband, the Gemara is going to explain, then we say, okay, they're married. If it doesn't come from the man, then they're not married. It says the Gemara, some say we learned it in the Brayso, get miyun. In the beginning, they used to have a very long lashon. Just like a get has a lot of words in it, the miyun had a lashon. Now, what's this get miyun? Not to be confused, Rabbi Isai, because I did this yesterday, I think. I got confused. I said in Shir something, nobody fixed me, nobody corrected me, Baruch Hashem, nobody chap. I mean, it's a terrible thing, because now it's going to go for durs, and I'm not going to fix it. But I think, I didn't even look back, I confused the chalitza with the miyun. It's confusing. Because it said, Rav Nachman says the halacha is not like Oisei Azog. And I said, he said it is like Oisei Azog. No. He was talking about chalitza and he's talking about miyun, two different things. However, get miyun. We're talking about miyun. Do you need a get for miyun? Miyun means she says words. She says, I don't want to be married to you. I'm done with you. So what's this get? The get is nothing. The get is just a receipt that this. If she wants to get married to somebody else, this is what happened. It says it in the get, in the get meal. What does it say? L're'ina bey, I don't want him. V'leitzavina bey, another lashon of I don't want him. I don't desire him. Shalom aleichem, how are you? Come on in, sit down. So what's your name? Avi Skorsky from?
West Hampstead.
West Hampstead. Where are you coming from this morning? Yerushalayim HaKodesh. Come on in. We're saying a little weak on the guests. We only had 4 or 5 today. It's like, thank you. Come on in. Do we have a seat here? Up front, right here. Givaldik. Learn a bit, Savina Bay, Vilesano Bailis, Lisnisova Bay. I don't want to be married to him. You came just in time. We're just about to start today's daf. Kuf Ches on top. So all these lashonis, I don't want to be married, I don't desire, I don't want to do this, I don't want to stay married. Even the chaz and the navish dibura. But Chacham saw that it's very wordy. There's a lot of words here. Amri, top of Kuf Ches Amud Aleph, Osi Lechluva Begita. The cipher, who's going to get confused here? This cipher is going to get confused, and he's going to put these words in a get. And so what's the problem? That's not a kosher get. Interesting. Because I had a story I was going to say a little bit further, but I would say it over here. There was a woman who got divorced from her husband, and they didn't write her a single shidduch. She's a very, very successful person, a very good shidduch. Nothing. 0. So after a while, she saw that it's not going so well. So she called up the shadchan and she says, maybe you could read my husband. So they read the husband back, and everything's going great. And they were about to get married, and the Rav said, let me see the get. He looks at the get and he says, Refuah Shilayma, this get is possible. So, okay, they redid the get, they redid the thing and that, and they got married. And then, of course, typical, they got divorced again. But then after they got divorced again, she got a lot of shidduchim. The point was that Akash Baruch Hu saved her. Then she had a bad get. Over here, a guy is going to write, instead of a get, the lashon is a get, he's going to, the big chacham, he once wrote a get miyun, so he thinks he understands the lashon and what you have to write, and he's going to write the lashonis of miyun into the get. You can't say in a get, I don't like him and I don't want him, and it doesn't work in a get. It's a different lashon. That's a lashon of a miyun. I refuse the marriage to begin with. That's a different lashon. So therefore, takinu hachi, very, very simple, not to get confused. It's a one-liner. B'yayim ploini, on this day, mi'ana ploinis, Rachel did mion, bas ploini, she's the daughter of Lavan, ba'anpana, or whoever it is, psul. Fine. Ba'anpana. Who's Rachel's father? Lavan. Okay, Lavan. B'yayim ploini, mi'ana ploinis, bas ploini, nobody corrected me. Bas ploini, ba'anpana. Fine, it's a one-line. There was a mion that occurred in this and this. Shalom Yisrael. Nobody's going to get confused with the get. That's 12 lines. Torah Rabbana. Eze mion. How does mion work? Now this is a big chiddush. What if a woman is talking to somebody and she tells that somebody how she doesn't like her husband? Is that mion? She doesn't. She discussed, two people overheard it. Is that considered a mion? A woman says to somebody, they say, "Oh, what a humble here! Your husband is coming." She says, "You take him." Is that mion? Is that mion? Why would it be mion? No. Says the Gemara, "Is a mion." I don't want to be married to him. I don't like the kedushin that my brother and my mother did. Not only that. What's an apirion here? We have a special picture that was made just for us. Here, you're in the picture, I think. Check it out. Apirion. It's one of these things. These whatever they carry around on. It's not accurate, but fine for the depiction only. It's a special college here. So in other words, she's on the way. She's in the limo, whatever you want to call it. In those days, she's on the way to the chasana. She's on the way to her husband's house. And Rashi sticks in. At this point, she should have jumped off the couch and ran away. She should have shown something that she doesn't want the guy, but she didn't show anything. That's the chiddush. And she says, and she continues the ride all the way to the husband's house. You think it's like a steer mineu bay? She's contradicting herself. That's enough for me. Yes, in addition to that, she's sitting in her husband's house and she's serving. She tells them, you see this loser I'm married to, I don't want to be married to him. And she continues pouring the drinks. She's a waitress. That is enough to be mion. You're in the house already. Forget about the limo. You're in the house. More than that. Now, he put her to work. So you would say, oh, she's upset right now. Let her cool down a little bit. He sent her in the heat to buy something, a heavy package from a store, and that's why she's saying, I hate the guy. But maybe later on she'll calm down. I don't want him. Now, the Rishonim, what? Yeah, so the Rishonim sticking over here that there are another two, like we had it with the case with the Rebbe Kiva, that they saw through the jail cell, they were able to see. There are witnesses. So we said in the Mishnah that if a girl is too young to know how to keep something safe, so she doesn't even have to do miyon. That's the halach. Tana. What about this? You have a young girl who didn't do miyun, but she went on a date with somebody and she married somebody else. Is that miyun? Again, what else does she have to say? She married another man, but she didn't say it with her mouth. She didn't say, I want to get divorced. Mishum Rabbi Yehuda b'Mseir Amru Nisuyeha Hein Hen Miyuneha. New chiddush, yeah, a chiddush today. You don't have to say it. Actions speak louder than words. Iboylahu Niskachamau. What about not marriage, but she received a ring? She had kiddushin toshma ktana shalimiana v'amdav niskacha. Says Mefurish in the Brisa. Ktana shalimiana v'amdav niskacha. Mishum Rabbi Yehuda b'Mseir Amru Kiddushel Hein Hen Miyuneha. Kiddushin is just as good as nisun. Now, very interesting. We don't really have this many times in Shas. I asked around, they told me in Leilu Mitzias. What? What do you mean for how long?
When she stays with
Kiddushin?
husband for a month, virus, and then she does Kiddushin for somebody else.
What, when she's a gdoila? No. Why not? What's the difference? How long? 6 years.
So Mian has to be right away.
No. Mian doesn't have to be right away. Where did you find that?
So she's gonna.
You could be married for 5 years. If she got married at the age of 5, we're talking about in time of the Gemara, interesting things. She got married at age 11. She does miyun and the whole thing, retroactive.
Is she allowed to accept Kiddushin by herself, by the way? Without her mother and her brother?
I don't know.
This is halacha.
No, but let's say not. Let's say she needs the mother. What's the difference?
This is halacha.
She can do miyun by
Yeah.
herself, but can she accept the Kiddushin?
No, hold on. We'll see the halacha now. Now the Gemara says the Gemara. Ibayalo, pligi rabbanon alei de Rabbi Yehuda b'mseir. Does anybody argue with this or lie? Im timsa loymar pligi b'kiddushin or afilu b'nesuin. I just said I don't remember such a lashon, and somebody said yes, you're right. It's in Baba Mitzia. In other words, not too many times in Shas that you have like im timsa loymars on a shita. If is the halacha like him, and if the halacha is like him, b'kiddushin or afilu b'nesuin, is the halacha only by kiddushin or even b'nesuin? She by accepting kiddushin from somebody else, she annuls the first marriage. Intim tzaloymar pligi afilu b'nesuin halakha moisay. No, halakha moisay. Is the halacha like that? Intim tzaloymar halakha moisay. Yeah, no, it's a very long lashon. Intim tzaloymar halakha. Why? Because we don't find anybody arguing. We don't even know if there's somebody that argues. So that's why we want to know if there's somebody that argues. How much does he argue on? We don't know. Intim tzaloymar halakha moisay b'nesuin afilu b'kiddushin. What part of the halacha is like him? Halfway, all the way. Tashma, let's try to figure it out. If somebody says that Allah is like so and so, that means somebody argues on him. Well, we don't know what they're arguing on. Was it full-fledged marriage and she just decided to marry somebody else and that annuls the first kiddushin? It's a very weird thing, I have to say. Mian is weird. It's exactly their abundant to do it like that, but whoever does it, it's a geferlach. And we want you to do it. We want you to take care of this girl. She's a Yisayma. But at the end of the day, you could annul it, and the 5 years you had with this person goes bye-bye. Tashma, the kalasa de Abdon Imrod. If we all remember, we just had a crazy story. Rabbi Shmuel Bar Yosi came in, and Abdon was upset at him. It looks like you're stepping on everybody, and he was a very, very large man. And Abdon said something not nice to him, and he got insulted, the whole thing. And then Abdon was punished on the spot. His 2 sons drowned, and his 2 daughter-in-laws did miyun. His 2 daughters did miyun. So, daughter-in-laws, the kalase, daughter-in-laws, yeah. So, daughters-in-law. So, l'chayr, it's those same daughter-in-laws. Shada Rebbe zug the rabbanon the kinu. So Rebbe, if you remember in the story, Abdon was Rebbe's shamash. He's the one. Rebbe told him what to do, and he was close to Rebbe. So Rebbe said, "Let's get some Talmid Chacham to check out what's going on here." Amrlu Nashe. The story happened like this. Women saw, let's say, 2 guys with the long jackets and the beards and the hats coming, on a donkey from a far place. Look, your husbands are coming back. So these 2 girls, these daughter-in-law said, you marry them. You should be with them. We don't want them. So what does that show? They never said to anybody specifically, huh?
Making a joke.
Okay,
Why
they
we
saw
it so happen so quickly?
because wasn't it? You don't joke around.
Sis, little kids.
Has your wife ever joked around like that? It should be your husband.
You need to get them.
That is the
Little
get.
kids.
Okay. My love, David Siva. Now, l'chayra from the lashon is mashmat that they marry because they said they should be your husbands, not your chassan. So, you could be doichik and say that having mekachi kedusha was only kedushin. Says the Gemara, v'halacha. If you want to know, the halacha was like Rabbi Yehuda ben Seira, even if there was a marriage. So again, you have a young girl. She's 6 years old. She got married to somebody. Her mother married her off to get rid of her. And then when she's 10 years old, she sees somebody else, and she marries somebody else without getting a divorce, without getting a miyun. That is a miyun. That's the halacha in the story. Rabbi Eliezer Omer, Omer Rabbi Yehuda. So it says in the Mishnah that a ma'isa ktana is nothing. Whatever she does is nothing, and she's like a mafuta. Omer Rabbi Yehuda Mishmol. I looked at all the shitas. I didn't find anybody that is consistent. That what? They're having a good time in the park, and then they have relations, and she gets up, and it says in the pasuk Isha sheishkav ish oisa shichva zara. They both have to go to the mikvah. V'tamu adarav. Every relations, you have to go to the mikvah. So she goes to the mikvah. V'yichelas b'truma. Why does she eat truma? Not because her husband is a kohen. Her father is a kohen. It's as if she's not married to the guy. No problem. She's with him. Then she eats truma as if she's not, has no relationship with him at all. That's really as a shita. They're not married. Now, the other Tanaim hold, no. There is somewhat of a marriage in the Rabbanon, and she can't eat truma. Tanya. The Kiddushin are nothing. So, since the Kiddushin are nothing, the husband cannot take her whatever she finds in the street, he can't take, and he can't take her salary, he's not in charge of an nedarim, he can't annul them. If she dies, he doesn't inherit her, and if he's a kohen, he doesn't go to her funeral. She's not his wife at all. If she doesn't do miyan, she's going to need a get later on in life. Rabbi Shua says no. He does get her mitzvah, but why? She's not really married to him, only the Rabbana, because of hefker bezin hefker. Everything she earns, and he could annul her neder. Why could he inherit her? Why could he be mitamet her? Forget that. Yarsha, fine. Hefker bezin hefker. Mitamala. Why mitama? Anybody? He's a kohen, and she's not married to him. So how can he be mitamet her? Meis mitzvah, givaldik. Now we had that earlier. Rashi brings it over here. It's halacha meis mitzvah. Nobody wants to take. They said, "Listen, you got all the payers from her. You get everything from her. You get so at least bury her." The Chavetz Chaim says, "Rabbi Sai, very interesting. That if there's a mitzvah that nobody keeps, it's one of these mitzvahs nobody really is so careful with, and you keep it, that's considered a meis mitzvah. It's a mitzvah that's a meis mitzvah." And so what if it's a meis mitzvah? You get very, very special schar, he says. Think about it. There's a mitzvah that nobody wants to deal with. Why?
Nobody doing it.
Yeah, but it's a mitzvah deraisa. The clouds and keep, that's their problem. There's Baruch says to keep it, you're going to worry about other people?
He's raising donkeys.
Lamasha, if somebody wears tchelas, nobody keeps it. I don't know.
No. Paying back a loan.
That's your
Paying back a loan.
paying back a loan. If you pay back a loan, you know, tremendous mitzvah. And he says, don't pay back the loan. It's your. What are you paying back the loan? Givaldik. Says the Gemara. Omar Rebbe, Nirim Divi Rebbe Eliezer, Divi Rebbe Yeshua. I like Rebbe Eliezer more. Rebbe Eliezer, Hishrim Midaisa Biktano, because he's consistent. Rebbe Yeshua Cholak. Rebbe Yeshua says it depends. My Cholak, where did he say this? If she's his wife, she should get a get like a wife. Says the Gemara, Rebbe Eliezer Nami Ilavish. Okay, but if you're saying that she's not his wife at all, let her just walk away. Why does she have to do miyon? What? Midrabanan, she's married, so she just walk away? That's impossible. What does it mean in the Mishnah if it's dependent? He's the one that's holding it back. They read her a shidduch. She's married to Reuven. They come along and they say, hey, we got a great guy for you. Forget this guy, we have a great guy for you. And she says, I can't marry the second guy because I'm married to the first guy. Now she has to do miyon because she admits that she's married to the first guy. However, if she says, I cannot take the shidduch. Why can't I take the shidduch? Because I don't like the guy that you're reading me. He's a terrible guy. So what she's saying is, I don't want to be married to my first husband, but the only reason I'm not marrying the second guy is because I don't like him. So that itself is miyon. If he gave her a get before she was ma'ayin, zui ikva shiminaish. Since he did the get, so Mela it's it has a halach of a get here, even though it's the Rabbanan, but midrabanan, they're not allowed to marry each other's relatives. Upsalam and akuna, she's possible to akuna midrabanan. Miyaboy, if she did mion, zuig v'sheneminish, she did it. V'um the Sevi, Mutars v'kreva, v'lepsalam and akuna. Says the Gemara, in 25 seconds, we're going to say these exact words. Hoktani l'kaman. We're going to say it in the Mishnah in a second. That what? You telling me that that's the pshat in the Mishnah before. Why is the Mishnah repeating it here? Says Gemara, this Mishnah that we're about to read is just a pshat in what Rabbi Yaakov says at the end of the Mishnah, the previous Mishnah. The official Mishnah is sponsored by Nishmas, Reb Meir Yechiel ben Reb Avram, Zechron Levracha, says the Mishnah. So in Reb Yaakov, if she does miyun, miyun annuls the marriage to begin with. They were never married. They had no relation at all. No relation. I can marry your father, I can marry your brother, I can marry you. Nosan lo get, but if he gave her a get, she's a ketana, gave her a get. Who also became a sell? Yes, we're bekroivav. Upsalam and akuna. Now, nosan lo get zero. So it goes like this. Check out the chart here. It goes like this. You can turn off the volume. No volume there. It's on the screen somewhere. Okay, so look on this screen, Sadik. You'll see. Now you'll appreciate why there's two screens in the front. Or you can turn around backwards. Look to the screen over here. What happened was this guy from the 5 towns married the woman from the 5 towns and he gave her a get. Step 2, he took her back. Why is there volume, Tzaddik? Thank you. Step 2, he took her back, and then he did miyun. She did miyun. Step 2 is miyun. So there's a get, and then miyun.
She's a katana, this one?
Yeah. Now, she goes ahead, and she marries somebody else. So, Rabbi Yisai, after a get, you're not allowed to, after a get, there's a mitzvah to remarry your wife, but if she marries somebody else, you're not allowed to marry her. So what just happened there? He gave her a get at one point in her life, and then she married somebody else. Is she allowed to go back to the first guy? He gave her a get and she married somebody else. Yeah, but there was miyun in between. So what should be logic over here? She's allowed to go back. Why? Because the miyun undid the entire marriage they ever had before. So now, this guy dies, Meis Shimon. So what happens is, she goes back to the original, she could go back if she wants to the original husband.
What if she had a kid with him?
Oh.
She is able to. 11-year-old could have a child.
Yeah,
so now that's also equivalent.
Yeah, why not? They're never married. Okay. That a kid, like we said, called bilos and bilosnos. Here's almost the same case, but the get and miyun are reversed. First came miyun, step 1 miyun. Then he took her back, and then he divorced her. Now she's the divorced woman. So you see what's going to happen here. Because the last thing that happened was a get. So she went ahead and she married another man. And then that other man went bye-bye. Now she cannot marry the original. Why? Because the original guy gave her a divorce after the miyun. Says the Mishnah inside. Nothing like get. First came get, virzira. And he took her back, mi and aboy v'nisis lacher, and then came miyun. So get and then miyun, and then she married another man. V'nisar malay and his gar, she got divorced even. Muteres lacher, she's allowed to go back to the first guy. However, if there's mi and aboy v'zero, nothing like get, but the get came after the miyun, v'nisis lacher, v'nisar malay and his gar, it's the same story. She married Shimon. Asura lachzera, she can't get back with him. Zaklal, get achar miyun. Asura lachzer loy. If the get comes afterwards, she's not gonna go back. Miyunachi get muteres lachzer loy. Sponsored by Moshie Horn in honor of Hillel Zand. Sponsored by Nisano not Gans. Another one, an anonymous Nisano. Latzlucha. He even wrote Latzlucha with a U. Ruchni and Gashmin from Murad Nakash for introducing me to MDY. Miyunachi. I want to say Rabbi Say. Real quickly, I keep on thinking about this and I forget to say it. There were people that came over to me after the siyum here in Bet Shemesh, and they said, I cannot believe I didn't go. I was over here, I was up north, and when they heard about the matzav of 1,000 people dancing together and having the time of their life, a ruchni and gashmi, everybody had charata. So if you're in New York, you better come there. I don't care if you have to drive 4 hours. You better be there because you're going to have charata g'dola moed if you don't come. Bring your friends. I'm telling you. Don't tell me I didn't warn you. FOMO. Yeah, very good. You don't want to... It's machlokes actually, but fine. If there's mion after the get, so he annulled the whole marriage to begin with, she could go back to the first guy. Check this out. There was mion, and then she married another guy, and the second guy gave a get. Here's the picture. Not this one. Just in case, this is the video I wanted to show, Nachman, but we didn't. Okay, so it's time you should know. This is a picture. It shows the whole story in one picture. There's no moving parts. She was married to the guy all the way on the right. She did mion. She married Ruvain. See, that's Ruvain. Ruvain, get. She marries the plumber, mion. Shimon, get. Levi, that guy, the talker over there, is quiet for a while, mion. So it's mion, get, mion, get, mion. You hear, Levi? Yes. And the Gemara is going to say all the way at the end that if you just had one more get, people are going to think she's a g'dola. How could she be married so many times? But this, not. So it goes like this. Very, very simple case. All the people that have mion have one halacha. The people that have a get have another halacha. Hamenes b'shvinisis la'acher v'girsha. La'acher u'min aboy. La'acher v'girsha. Ze'aklal. Kol sheyoytze amenu beget. Asur la'achzor boy. Even many times, it doesn't matter how many times. Anybody that gave a get, she can't go back to him. The Gemara is going to say it's a gzeira. B'miyon. There's miyon at the end of the day. Mutaris la'achzor loy. She's allowed to. Says the Gemara, Alma asi miyon u'mevatel get. From this case, where am I? Okay. I don't know what I'm looking at. Alma osi mion umevatel get. From this case, the original case in the Mishnah. You have the guy from the 5 towns married the 5-towner. And then there was a get, and then there was a mion. Get and mion. What's the halacha? She's allowed to marry the guy from the 5 towns. So what do you see? The mion gets rid of the get. That's what we see before in the Mishnah. Very mini. But that's a problem. It says, what about the case we just mentioned? The 5 guys, there was a mion get, mion get, mion get. And over there, you don't say that the final mion, all the way at the end, there's a mion at the end. It should undo all the gitin. What's the difference between the 2 cases? Oh, very good. The Gemara doesn't like your answer. The Gemara says your answer and explains that that doesn't help. But there's another reason. They're saying it's another guy. Over here, how could a mion, maybe perhaps the mion doesn't work for another husband that gave a get. Your own get, yes, somebody else is getting that. That's the obvious answer. So in this case, you see that mion doesn't annul all the marriages she ever had. The beginning of the Mishnah is one man da'amar, the end of the Mishnah is another man da'amar. There's 2 shittas whether or not mion annuls a kiddushin retroactively or not. I don't understand the kasha. Dilma, mion didei, mevata get didei. Perhaps his mion has the power to do his own get. Mion dechavrei, lo mevata get didei. Maybe the mion of a friend not, like you guys were saying. But I have to explain to you why. What's the difference? Says the Gemara, amazing. She understands the winking of his eye. And when he tells her, listen here, you 8-year-old, I'll give you 3 candies, she chaps exactly what he's talking about, and she's going to leave the husband that she got married to. The first guy already, he knows how to do it. They're gonna convince the guy they're gonna convince her to do mion and come back to him. Says the Gemara, mion the day. So, but what What?
That's why
That's what they said. Anytime there's a get, you can't go back and do miyun because go back to him because you might play shtick afterwards. You might grab her. The Gemara is going to explain the difference. When he gives the get, he's the initiator. He could still convince her because she didn't want to get divorced. He did it, so she still loves him. Rashi says that lashon love, and memela he could get her back. Ask the Gemara, but what about in this case where there was get and then miyun? Look, he, the 5-towner, step one gave a get, and then he gave a miyun. It shouldn't work because he's going to go, and when she marries Shimon, he's going to go convince her. He's going to say, hey, come back. Says the Gemara, no, that won't work over there. Over there also. Says Gemara, in this case, there's a get, and then she did miyun. What does miyun mean? She hates him. She wanted out of the marriage. She wants out of the marriage. She's not going to be able to convince him to get back. But when he gave her a get, it was his thing. Then she still has a connection to him, and he could get her back. Eli Kashio, Kashio. I have another question. Chart 17. This case where there was miyun get. Miana boy zero. Nosan lo get. V'nisis lacher. There was miyun and then get, and she married Shimon. On his garsha asur laza boy. So the Gemara darshans time it in his harmonious garsha. Look what happened there. The last step is in step 4. Shimon dies or divorces her. But what happens on Miana? What if step 4 he's still alive, but she got out of the marriage? She did miyun. What's the halacha? Maybe she should be able to get back to the first one. Mutaris lachzer. Why? Because she did a miyun on Shimon and she outdid everything. It's only the Gemara's medayik. Why does it say Mei Shimon? Mei Shimon. It should say anything Shimon. Miano Shimon, Mei Shimon, Nizgarsha Shimon. It says only 2 cases. It's mashma that in this case of miyun of Shimon, she could get back to the first one. I'm also miyun the chavreim about to get it today. But that's not good. The famous case of 5 men. She did miyun and get, miyun and get, miyun and get. So we have a kash. On the one hand, miyun takes off everything retroactively. In this case over here, you see it doesn't. It's broken. It's 2 shitas. I don't have it in this picture, but just add the word gate. Get. There's miyun get, miyun get, miyun get. So if she got divorced 3 times and there's 3 miyuns, so Mela now people are going to think that she's a gdoila, like he asked. That was the first thing that came out. How is it possible such a young kid went through so many husbands, so many different things? She must be 15 years old. And then you have the rest, like in the rest of the shas. It happens to be when it comes to harayis. Pay attention when the Gemara is very careful and concerned. Concerned is the word. What other people are going to say. It's usually when it comes to harayis or las on a kid. But these kind of things, people might think that a gedola could do miyun and get back. Even though, like, well, who's going to think this? Fine. We're very concerned. And really, we said no go. Mantana. So who are the 2 shitas here? That could a miyun go back retroactively or not? Who are they? Omer Yehuda, Omer Rav. It's Rav. My dechsiv. Meimenu bechesef shisinu. We had to buy water. We had to pay for meyed. And what is it called? You know, the water, the bottled water. Eitzeinu b'mechir yavayu. Even our wood costs money. B'shas hasakanos. In other words, we pay for Torah. B'shas hasakanos b'asha halacha zu harei sheyatsa merishayin beget u'mesheni b'miyun. Ma'u shetachzol l'rishon. This girl, she got a get from the first guy, and then she got a miyun from the second one. Does it retroactively mivatel the first kiddushin, and therefore the first get, and she go back to the first guy? Sachar adam barba me'uzuz. Now, a ksub is 200 zuz. That's a salary of a year. So 2 years worth of salary they paid a guy. Just go ask this question. V'shal is Rabbi Kiva Beis Hasurim, and they asked him in jail v'asar. He said it's also. Is Rabbi Yehuda ben Meir ben Tzim v'asar? Omer Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yossi. It's the same Rabbi Shmuel ben Rabbi Yossi that was heavy, and the whole story. Poiseal shtei lezu lo yitzrachnu. I'm mechulek on you. That's not what Rav asked. Le'isur kares itarta. If you say that miyun works against Eishes Ish. She's married to a guy, and now she's not married to him just by saying a word. Listen lavli kolchkin. So you're concerned about Machzak Rushasoi, which is just a lav. Of course, miyun works for that. Biram kach shalu. So what was the question? Mao. Let's just stop over here. This kasha. Biram kach shalu. Harei hoisa ishes achi imoy. Shishni aloi. The boys say, have a wonderful day.